Hey guys, Gary over at Stripwell. I just wanted to go over something that is more technique. Wanted to kind of share some thoughts on a technique. A lot of times when you're stripping an item that has a lot of surfaces, so like a chair, for example, there's just the insides of the legs, the outsides of the legs, and there's four legs, and there's all these like surfaces, and it's a small item, but it's just a lot to make sure you get every surface versus a dresser where it's the two sides, the top, the fronts of the drawers, and you're done. It's all flat. A chair can be challenging. And so here I want to tell you how I would approach it, and hopefully it helps you. So let's just imagine, if you will, that this nozzle is a chair. Okay, can you work with me on that? Use your imagination. So this is your chair. So you're going to put your chair on your bench and you're going to stand it up kind of like this. Okay, now you're tempted to just sort of spray it with the QCS and start to scrub and leave it right where it is. But the problem is there's all these surfaces sort of underneath that you might miss, things like that, and it becomes challenging. You can get lost on where you're working and where you left off and all of that. So what I recommend is like a rotation pattern when you're stripping an item with lots of surfaces. So what I would do is wet it a couple times like this. Okay, you can probably do all of your coating like this. You may want to move it a little bit, but you can leave it upright. But then when you start to scrub all of the surfaces, and again, you're scrubbing wet. You're dipping your steel wool and your brush into the QCS in like a little container. Start scrubbing and do all of the surfaces that are up, that are facing you upwards, so that way you're getting the most out of the QCS that's on the surface. Then rotate it with just one little partial turn. Do all of these surfaces now, all of this, and then rotate it again. Do all of the surfaces facing up. Do that at least once, maybe even go around and do it again. And that's going to help you to find all those little pesky areas where the finish is kind of hiding on you, and you can get it off. And again, as you rotate it and you're scrubbing wet, you can also reapply if the area needs a little bit extra QCS. Just spray a little more on or brush some on. But just keep rotating it, and eventually you'll start to see that it's really letting go. Now you're just moving around kind of the grime or the buildup. What you want to do is, as soon as you've seen it's released, start to now wipe this entire surface, rotate it, and scrub and wipe this entire surface. What I mean by wipe is use a paper towel or something and get all that grime off, so you're not giving it a chance to re-solidify and grab back on. Get it off and then move along, and keep doing that. And the more you do it and the cleaner you get all these surfaces, you're going to have a breeze later when you get into sanding, because you're going to get it so clean if you take the time that you're going to save tons of time later. You're going to leave the original color in the wood if you're aiming to restore it. If you're aiming to do any other types of finishing on it, it'll just save you the sanding alone, save you sanding paper and all the aggravation of that. Get it clean. Just take your time. Don't stress. Don't rush it. Get it as clean as you can, and then once you're at a point where you're like, yep, that's about as good as I can do, put it aside and let it dry. But that rotation pattern is really going to help you, where you're not going to miss spots or get lost just jumping around. You're going to really be able to know where you left off and where you are, and keep moving it. That's going to be a huge help. So hopefully that does help you, and you can mix that into your technique toolbox. And if you have any questions, please feel free to email us, and we'll try to get to those as well. But hopefully that helps.